What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. You know what it is. I am glad to be back. I hope you all are enjoying your week. This is episode number 2 of the week. I had a good conversation with Benny the Jet, a hip-hop artist out of Iowa. That was earlier this week, so I hope you guys got to enjoy that. That was long form, obviously, with everything going on in the world, in the country specifically, in the state of Wisconsin, really. We talked a lot about that. But today is one of our NBA shows, which, this is the third conversation I've been doing with KT. So I had my friend KT come on again. And obviously continuing on the social issues that we're dealing with right now, the NBA, they protested on Wednesday, or boycotted, however you want to put it. The Bucks started it all by not coming out, and then the NBA then went forward and suspended the games. They did that for Thursday as well, and today is Friday morning when this episode is coming out, and we don't know if they're playing tonight or not. They said they might. They are going to start again by Saturday, so tomorrow at the very least. So we obviously address all of this. We talk about our thoughts on what's going on, what we think about it. I mean, the NBA is very forward-thinking, has always really been on the forefront of these issues, and I want to make sure that I mention the WNBA as well. I bring them up briefly in the conversation, but we do specifically talk about the NBA because that's normally what we talk about and what we watch. But I do want to acknowledge that the WNBA players have been really at the forefront of these social issues the whole time. They've always been very forward thinking and very great about that. So they deserve some credit, obviously a lot of credit, and some very emotional scenes that they've been creating, and just a good movement that they've been creating in the WNBA. So want to make sure I acknowledge that. But yeah, this was a fun conversation. I mean, serious because we talk about a lot of this stuff, but we also do break off into straight basketball. We do talk a little bit about how Luka's been going off. We go into our second round predictions a little bit. We do the East second round, not the West second round. It's not completely set up yet, so we do that. And then we just just normal talk shit about basketball. It was a fun time as always. And before I give you guys the full conversation and just send you right into there, I just want to briefly mention, obviously, as always, go to thedavidlopez.com to find my music. Go to passionparkent.com to find all of our new videos, podcasts, short films, anything that we do, really. But then briefly, with everything going on, this is the perfect time to be wearing this shirt, this All I Know We Need Change shirt. I'm not trying to just selflessly promote using these times, but I mean, I think this shirt I specifically made for, the song I made, All I Know Part 2, which has to do with a lot of the, social injustices we're dealing with. But I also kind of want to make it, especially with the election coming up, I think I'm going to focus a little bit more on that, and just making this a theme for October, November, because that's a big thing. So, and we are donating a lot of the money, we're donating the money that we get from these shirts. So if you go to passionpark.threadless.com, you can get any of our merch, but you can definitely get this shirt specifically there. All I Know We Need Change. And before I send it over to KT, I'm just going to say that is really how I feel. I mean, I'm not here to say that I got all the answers. Neither me or him are saying we have all the answers. Nobody does, but it's pretty clear and pretty evident that we need change. I mean, there is no doubt there are some real issues. We are praying for Jacob Blake and his family and for a good recovery. But all I know, we need change. We're going to leave it at that. Let's get into the show. Thank you, KT, for coming on. Let's talk some hoops.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
I'll just timestamp it for people to know. We're recording this Thursday night, August 27th. So yesterday was Wednesday, the day when, I mean, I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know this until Twitter, that yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of Colin Kaepernick's the first day he kneeled. Mm-hmm. Isn't that? I didn't even know that.
I didn't know, that's a shout out to Twitter for, always keeping up with things like that. Like, man, talk about poetic. Like the 4-year anniversary to the day of that, what you can say kickstarted so much of this is, man, it's crazy.
No, absolutely. So 4 years to the day, And I mean, the NBA was about to start a triple header. I was about to make a fantasy team as I normally do. I mean, so whatever. And then the Bucks make us. I mean, Fred VanVleet had mentioned this was a possibility before, and I had heard them mention this. And then the Bucks start everything off, make the stand. The NBA then suspends the whole games. They suspend tonight's games as well, but they did vote that they're going to come back tomorrow. So, anyways, I just want to briefly highlight that. Now, what were your initial thoughts when they said the Bucks weren't coming out yesterday? Like, what was going through your head?
Immediately I was like, wow, like it was like I was surprised but not surprised. Surprised like that it seemed to be like like nobody had advance notice. It was like, yo, like, nah, we doing this, and so I was surprised in that regard, but also not surprised because the NBA has always been generally on the right side of social initiatives and always, allowing the players to make these kind of decisions, and then feel empowered to speak out and to not worry about repercussions and things like that. But immediately, bro, I will say, and I know I'm not alone, Kyrie Irving deserves an apology.
Bro, I was going to bring this up.
Irving deserves an apology from every look. What's that cliche? Your apology needs to be as loud as a disrespect was.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, you can feel how you want to feel about him as a basketball player, as a teammate, XYZ. But when it came to this specific thing, the very thing that resonated, that NBA, the WNBA, the MLB, golf, that every single professional sports athlete or league has done, Kyrie Irving was the first person to voice this as a possibility for the entirety of the before the resuming of the NBA. He got vilified for it. I mean, like literally, like the things that were being said were way beyond just basketball. He's a bad teammate. He's this, he's that. And then turn around like, and it's just almost like, I would say it's very just hypocritical to, and it was, again, like, this isn't pitting who the Bucks against Kyrie or this team against Kyrie, because they all want the same thing. They all want to use a platform to speak out and to really keep the focus on what's going on in the world right now. But and Kyrie, again, Kyrie's a superstar in the league, so his voice carries more weight than the 12, 13, 14, 15 guy on every team. So he was just trying to speak out for Kyrie being the high profile player he is. He's trying to speak out for more than himself.
Yeah,
and he didn't get that same good job, great job. He got criticized, crucified, crazy.
No, hindsight is definitely 2020, so it's easy for us to say this now. Yeah. But it's so funny you brought that up right away, because I was gonna get into that, because that was definitely I talked about it when it happened, like the Kyrie Irving thing too, because it was a question. The thing about, like, you made the exact point, like, he is a superstar, so his voice is almost the voice of the 13th or 14th guy. And there was other people who I think said, they just posed the question. It was a valid question.
Dwight Howard said something. I think Lou Williams said, they were just curious that they didn't want this to be a distraction. And a lot of players had valid points.
It was a valid question. I mean, there's no right answer for it. But you're right that, Kyrie, the reason I think that Kyrie gets so much, because he did get more backlash than everybody else. You are absolutely correct. But I think he's just kind of polarizing. It's probably something. Look, not everybody loves him. He's done some things teammate wise. You're right, but those things had nothing to do with this particular issue.
Nothing at all.
I agree. He was so he really does, like, he is made out to look like, and that's kind of where I'm like, so I'm both sides of this for sure. First of all, yesterday was, I think, it was the right. It felt right. Like, there was nothing, like, there's nothing to say. Like, it just felt like that was the right thing. And then obviously the NBA just adapted and was like, we're going to go with the whole thing. And that made sense. And it was right for the climate, but there's a lot of questions now to ask then going forward. Then they had the meeting, and how interesting is the meeting?
Yeah. That was, I know it's like a running joke almost, but like a laughing but serious thing, that the NBA is the best league in the world, because this is it's like nonstop stories and just interesting, like for lack of a better term, drama. Even if the drama, like, it's just always engaging and always just has you locked and center, and this, it just continues.
Right, and so they have this meeting that's. I love that they did this, and I love that they asked the coaches to leave, so it's all the players. But the Lakers and the Clippers are the only two teams that voted against it.
Yeah, it is. And all the reports say LeBron was the first player to walk out, and then people follow suit.
Yeah.
I think that definitely, aside from LeBron, like, so I will say that LeBron is the most powerful
Yeah.
figure, public figure that I've ever like heard speak, seen on TV and things like that. Because especially in the day of social media and the way celebrities use their platform or are conscious of it. Think about this, man. LeBron's been in the league almost 20 years. The worst thing we say about him is basketball.
Yeah.
Is the whole how he went to Miami and the
Yeah.
whole television special, all the things like that. That's the worst
It's
thing
the only
people
blip.
talk
It's the
about.
only thing. Yeah.
Like, there has never been some kind of the domestic issue,
No.
something with sexual assault issue, something with him embarrassing his wife. There has been literally nothing.
No, and that's pretty
Literally
unheard of for
nothing.
somebody who's been a celebrity since they were 16. That's just really, and I'm not even talking, I mean, because I'm sure people will say, like, people will be like, well, to have a black athlete that does that, yeah, that's impressive. But I just mean period. Like, period. Find
It's great.
anybody. Like,
And then the fact that he is black, especially
Mhm.
with how careful black athletes have to be, no matter what
Yeah.
their professional sport is unheard of. I don't think we're ever going to hear it or witness it ever again because it's crazy. And
I don't think he
but
gets
I
enough
also
credit
think
for it. Right.
no, he does, and I think it's one of the things that we're like we talk like people like spectators and then all the TV personalities talk about it in real time, but we don't. I don't think we're really going to understand how impactful he is and was until he's done retired. Until Lord forbid he passes too early that he's gone.
Yeah.
But I also think from a basketball side, the fact that of course, critics love to take every shot at LeBron and want to bring him down or whatever. It's an easy championship for him, blah blah blah. He's like by him taking the opposition, like this is more important than his. LeBron doesn't need to do anything else for his legacy.
Yeah.
Like he cemented. Like the only thing that you debate is where you want to rank him in terms of all-time greats, and that's a personal decision. However you want to use your own criteria. So the fact that he's willing to like that he understands and he's always understood. He's always been on the right side of things that this is bigger than basketball. I don't
Yeah.
care about championship. I don't care about playing. Like this is something that the world needs right now.
Mhm.
I think that's definitely was really important. It really said a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I want to, like, I'll publicly say, because I know I said on the podcast earlier, like back when they were deciding whether or not they're going to do the bubble, and all these things. If you remember, LeBron tweeted one day, or he retweeted something about like they were talking about not to continue the season. It was like it was in the air, and LeBron was like, I didn't even know this was an option. Like, I can't believe that we're even thinking this. And I, at the time, and I think along with a lot of other people, were like, how is he not thinking about not doing this? You must just be so tunnel focused on the championship. Like, come on, dude. And so I was kind of on, like, I believe me, I love LeBron. I have said the same things that you just said pretty much about him, but I did question it a little bit. And so I was thinking, like, no matter what, like, he's not, they want to play and he wants to play and I respect it. And I'm like, he's going to happen. So then when this happened, I was like, man, that shows how big of an issue, though, where we're at. I mean, that shows where we're at, because he really stepped up. I mean,
yeah, and like we just said, like LeBron is you could say he's the most famous athlete in the world across any sport.
I think probably right
like,
now.
I think that's a fair assessment to say.
Yeah.
And so when he speaks, you listen.
Yeah.
Like, when he speaks and when he has something that he wants to get out, a message to get out, people listen, for better or worse. Critics and fans alike, we listen, we tune in, and his word carries weight.
Absolutely, and he's a great speaker, and he conducts himself in a powerful way. But I mean, that's crazy. And speaking of, so actually, this transition to speaking of powerful speakers, the Doc Rivers post game press conference the other day, or whatever you want to call it. It's not really a press conference anymore, but whatever. That went viral, and that was awesome. And he had the comments where he was like, we keep loving this country, but this country doesn't love us back. Paraphrasing, he said something to that effect. Now, the one point that I heard that I thought was interesting, because it goes to the whether or not it's the right move to play, whether or not it's the right move not to play. The one thing I heard on a radio show that I was listening to was Doc Rivers post-game comments, for instance, probably are not heard as big as much as they are if it's not post-game after a playoff game. So, I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, like, obviously, the platform and the circumstance, right? Him saying that is different than him just recording a video on
Yes.
Instagram or going live on Facebook or sending out a tweet. Because again, you can't put like part of his message was also the emotion and then in his body language,
Right.
like watching that, man. If you didn't, if that didn't stir something inside you, and especially as people who knows what he's talking about and has lived those
Mhm.
things he's talking about, you feel that, and the emotion and the pure like power that were behind his words, like it just wouldn't be the same if it was a tweet, if it was a live video on Facebook. So
Yeah.
like the bubble is a platform because
Yeah.
people are watching. But again, like the player said before, a lot of the headlines and things of that nature is like who scored what. Who
Right.
this game, that game, which again, sports are a distraction, but sports also bring people together, and sports
Yeah.
also grabs the world's attention. So honestly, it's not an easy answer and not an easy way to how you want to use this platform. But the most important thing is they are using the platform trying to do something.
I agree with you. That's I think the biggest. I mean, that was very well put. You're completely right because the biggest part about it is, and that's what people need to remember. Like, or I don't know if it was Chris Webber's comments too. He had a great comment too, where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the messenger is
Yes.
not going to always be perfect, but the messenger is like there to try to deliver the message. So we need to just remember that. I mean, it's so clear that the NBA players and the NBA has good intentions in their heart. It is
Yeah, yeah.
so clear.
And Chris Webber's another like his I don't know if you got to see his
Yeah, he was
speak
broken up.
speak
Yeah, he was very emotional. It was great.
when he said something really great to the effect of that it's not about making immediate change right now or tomorrow or next week. It's about to multiple things. One is laying the foundation so the people after us they pick it up and continue.
Right.
Just like we're picking up from people before us. It's
Right.
about the fact that for far too long, the way things are led to how we got here with so much going on. So it sounds like, yo, we're not taking things how things are anymore. It's time to just forget that, make people uncomfortable, and time to put things in the light. And it's also about the fact that you just keep on going, you keep on fighting, you never give up, you never get complacent because complacency again is how we got here.
Right.
And Grant, I think Chris Webber he put that really well and about like just it's just about inspiring the next group to keep on going and keep on fighting. We just got to keep on going and keep on going, man.
Yeah. As we're talking through it, and I mean, that's exactly true. Like it's constantly moving forward. And as we're talking through it, and I'm trying to think, like I think that this was almost the way it played out. I mean, we're gonna see, how it plays out in the country and how it actually plays out in the political landscape. This is more about messaging. I think like taking that 1 day or 2 days where it really was very, I mean, I think it was very noticeable. A lot of people were talking about it. And hopefully it's not just talking about why aren't they playing these games, and it's more talking about the real things. But then I don't know, part of me does think that their message they have more to say when they have games and stuff. But but at the same time, you're super right. Like they're just, at the end of the day, they're going to be talking about, who scored more points.
Yeah.
But I just don't know on a grand scale how big, I guess people have social media platforms, but how big everybody's audience is going to be when they're back home or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things is like once once the game stop and the clock stop and it's I know the thanks to due to COVID going forward the season now and then going forward this is going to be shifted and different. So whenever the off season comes up and people are taking a break and players usually go on vacation and just kind of get out the spotlight a little bit, it's going to be different,
Yeah.
because you don't like how impactful anything you say. Like again, anybody that's like very, very few. First of all, nobody named LeBron has that kind of power that you can send out a tweet and that just no matter
Yeah.
what time of year, no
Right.
matter when your attention's on that. But just just like some players who normally wouldn't probably have the platform or have the spotlight, or I know in the previous podcast we talked about the bubble, how it's is more isolated, so you just focusing on basketball. Some players, aside from just elevating their game, they're elevating like their voice. So
Yeah.
now they feel they might feel more comfortable to speak out now when it's not a crowd for 30,000 people in
Yeah.
the stadium. Now it's just 15 guys going down the line who have more of a voice now that's not getting drowned out. So it's a lot of uncertainty going forward about a lot of things, but I just do think the NBA has generally always been on the right side of things, and just yesterday, like you said, it just felt like the right thing to do.
No, it did, and it was it was great, and then everybody got to and people got to talk about it, and that's the important things that those
Yeah.
those shows do. Yeah, I am kind of, now that I'm saying, I mean, we were talking about it. I think, yeah. I mean, that's probably why they voted to continue on. And we don't know if it's gonna start tomorrow or Saturday, but it sounds like at least by Saturday, because I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the teams, most of them voted to continue on, and I think most of them probably came to the talk through like we just talked through. I think that's probably true. It's not even just about the superstars. It's about player 3 through 12 on that roster. They have a voice in this bubble where they really, I don't know what their voice is outside of it.
I mean, yeah, and then aside from the bubble, if the season was regular and this was game number, we'll be well, actually, we'll be it's August, so we the playoff, the finals, everything would have been done.
Yeah,
so
we'd be
right
like
now.
training camp coming soon. Like,
Yeah. Training camp's coming up, and training camp, people are getting excited about the upcoming season with whatever offseason changes got made and everything. So yeah, this is an opportunity that, again, prayers to people who lost loved ones to COVID and everything, because of course you don't want to want to wish it upon anybody, but the fact that the world did take the turn the way it did, this could have just opened up a lot of opportunities for some players who, like you said, use their voice and just use this opportunity to elevate their platform.
yeah, I think it did. I think it's really, and it's highlighted the NBA. And you know what? I want to make sure I mention the WNBA, because the WNBA never get the highlights that the NBA do, but they always are on the head of the things when it comes to these things.
Apologies to WNBA.
I mean,
but yeah, they're always leading the charge for a lot of things, but they don't get that spotlight. The message that I had yesterday with the T-shirts that spelled out Jacob's name, but then with the
7
bullet holes in
bullets,
the back was always always leading the charge, always powerful, and it was really, really, really huge.
Yeah, no, and they do a lot of great things, and yeah, I mean, you don't have to, I don't think you have to apologize, because you normally talk about the WNBA in here, but I just want, maybe I should do a better job. I don't watch that many games, to be honest, but I do watch sometimes in some highlights, and I know that they're awesome, and they're growing, which is awesome. They're like constantly growing. Yeah. I think I was talking to somebody about this. I think their average attendance is like maybe 3,000 to 5,000, which like is still good. Like that's still,
which compared to where it was years ago.
No, yeah.
It's crazy. And again, but also like I've known some women hoopers. They cold. They can hoop.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure.
All the clowns that that talk trash behind fake Twitter profiles and think, look, don't think just because you're a man that you want to smoke. They can hoop.
My brother used to practice against the girls team at DePaul.
I did too.
Oh, you did?
I did too. I did too. Yeah. And Coach Bruno, look, again, had them hooping. Yeah. It wasn't like come in easy, like they hooping. Like,
no, they're good. No, and DePaul's always good. Those women are always good. I served Coach Bruno a drink one time.
The women's team is always
right.
Really good.
Oh no, there's definitely some women ballers. This girl Tatiana, who's been on the show before, she used to play on the boys team in grade school, and I always we talked about the story on the show one time. It was like how she ripped me, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm like, but she was cold, man, and she went on to play D1, like, so she was really good. Well, so good. We're getting talking into basketball. And actually, before I get completely into basketball, because there's a couple of basketball things I obviously want to say. So I talked yesterday when I recorded my podcast about the Jacob Blake thing more extensively, and I talked more about it. He's from Evanston, and he's like our age and played football and basketball. So I'm like, and like I know there's people who cross paths, so it just hits a lot closer to home when you're like, damn.
Oh man, I didn't know that. But then, like you said, being on a circuit of playing sports, so it's funny. So in other states, people, like when I tell people I'm from Chicago, they immediately, aside from the celebrities, do you know Chief Keef? Do you know Lil Durk? Do you know this? Like they assume that aside from the celebrities, that everybody in Chicago knows everybody. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, it's a city. Not everybody knows everybody.
No, of course.
But then when you hear like things like that, it just makes you wonder, like, man, just depending on the circuit where you've been at, where you played at, and things like where you've traveled. How many if you've crossed paths with him before, or people I know who've crossed paths with him or played against something, it's like, like you said, it just really hits closer to home.
A lot closer to home. Yeah, I mean, I grew up Rogers Park's like right near Evanston, and we used to hoop in Evanston.
Yeah, right. It's right there.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, man. It's just it's so crazy, and I'm glad the NBA took a stance. But with that said, it sounds like games are going to resume either tomorrow or Saturday. I wonder if they'll start tomorrow. I wonder if they'll do the original games. I wonder how they're going to do it, because Boston Toronto is supposed to start for round 2.
Yeah.
So since we last spoke, what did happen? I want to get into. There's the East second round we could pretty much talk about, but we got to talk about Luka Mania real quick. I mean, did you get to see most of that? His amazing effort in the 49 point or the however many points he had
Yes.
that game, 43.
Yes, I did. Man, Luka is cold. He's reached that level where you know you cold when you know about one day.
Yeah.
When you just know about LeBron,
Yeah.
Kobe.
He's one name.
Like when you, just one name,
He's
just
a
one name.
one-name guy.
Zion. Like just one name. Like you just one name. Like
Absolutely. There's no
cold,
doubt. No doubt.
cold, like cold.
Dude,
man.
Single-handedly and without Kristaps too, just domination.
And honestly, like again, save for a few bad calls and they legit.
They should have won game one.
Yeah, they could have been up 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like it wasn't like again aside from the last game where they got blown out.
Yeah,
they could have been up 3-1. Like they're
yeah,
like,
they
right
could have been up
series.
3-1 with a chance to close out, which I don't think they would have lost by 50. But
I don't think so either. Yeah, but it is, man. Talk about like scary good, but I like only because Dallas is a lower seed. I had this thought like, next season Golden State coming back.
Oh yeah. When
So when they come back, who's getting put out? Who's getting out?
Yeah, like if we're just going with these 8 teams right now, and you know for sure Golden State is going to make the playoffs next year, that's a great question. Because I actually, when I did I watched the lottery live, and I was talking about Golden State a little bit because I think they're probably going to trade that number 2 overall pick, and then they're going to get somebody who can go with those 4 guys, and they're gonna be the number 1 or number 2 seed in the West right away.
Like Golden State right there. And then we don't know what San Antonio's gonna look like, but if Pop is gonna stay there,
he might leave. There's rumors that rumors.
I heard the rumors he's gonna leave. I don't know. I'm not an insider inside the locker rooms. Again, mine says, could you imagine like Pop anywhere else but San Antonio?
No, but they're talking. They said Nets, and then the other thing I heard was Sixers, which I think both are kind of interesting. The one thing I did hear, or it was like a rumor, I don't know. The one podcast I listened to, they were saying but would he? I'm sure he would probably want to do something cool when he leaves, like maybe leave the job for Becky Hammond or something. Like, make sure they agree that she'll be the coach or something.
But I'm only saying Dallas because Dallas is the lower seed.
Well, I know I'm looking at this right here. Utah. No, Utah looks so good. I mean, because Donovan Mitchell looks like D Wade. Like,
let's talk about that 57-point performance, man. And talk about Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray. That's a rivalry to watch for
that's been a great battle. The thing about Denver is like they just don't play any defense. So like Jamal Murray is an amazing offensive player, not a great defender, but I mean so are a lot of guys. But neither is Nikola. So like they are just like they can't. I don't know. And Utah can score. Like Utah it's not who you like. Normally when you think about Utah, you think boring, and like they are just like amazing offensively to watch.
Yeah.
Man, looking at these 8 is really tough, but I can't imagine the Mavs being worse than they were this year. And this year they were the 7th seed, but they had a good record. I have it right here. They were the 7th seed, but they were
solid record.
43-31. Yeah, I mean, I see them getting better. So, and I see Luka probably getting, even better too. I mean, he'll be like a top 3, top 5 MVP candidate next year.
He's gonna. It's only about time before he wins.
If I got to pick one team out of here that's dropping out, it's the Thunder because they either trade Chris Paul or I think it's the Thunder. I guess the other option is the Rockets get rid of D'Antoni and somehow blow it up or something.
It's funny. I actually think if the Rockets get rid of D'Antoni, they're actually gonna be better.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
I think they'll be better in that regard. OKC, I think, like I said, if they trade Chris Paul, the only thing is his contract is pretty massive. Like, who would really,
it would have to be a championship.
Who has the flexibility and the pieces to really make that happen. I think, OKC.
What if they could get him to the Lakers now?
But which I think would be fantastic. But who would honestly, again, Lakers fan here love it, but the Lakers roster has a lot of flaws, obviously.
Yeah.
Like Like they have a lot of flaws, and as far as like flexibility and pieces to give up, they don't really have that many attractive pieces, honestly, on a market to trade.
No, they don't have that many to trade. But if the Thunder were just trying to get rid of Chris, I'm just thinking here. If they're trying to get rid of some of the money, I mean, the Lakers don't have they couldn't afford it. But AD is going to be a free agent. So like, if he opts out, I was saying I wanted Portland to upset the Lakers because I was like AD could opt out and then we can see what happens here.
Yeah.
But he probably won't opt out. I don't know. And they're definitely going to win that. So if we revisit what we picked the Lakers to beat Portland in 6. I mean, they would have won in 5. I mean, because Dame isn't even playing anymore.
Yeah.
So they're going to advance. The one that's still in the air though is Thunder Rockets because that's still tied 2-2. So they got that. I don't know. That's been the Rockets after 2 games. Look, I was like, oh, they're going to dominate this, and then all of a sudden the Thunder.
Hey, they again, Chris Paul is one of the best leaders that we've seen in basketball. And then the Thunder they play hard. They play scrappy. Like they play like they hoop. Like they don't back down. They're not scared. And then even beyond having a solid team now, which again they definitely overachieve. I don't think nobody expected them to be where they are now, be as good as they are now. But even for the future, like they have a lot of draft picks and like set for the future. So the Thunder will definitely be there. They'll be fine in the future.
Yeah, no, the Thunder. I like their squad. Like they got a lot of young guys, and they might decide to keep Chris Paul because they like him that much. Because I heard that they do really love him because of what he's really bringing up those young guys. Yeah. I had a trade thought because people are talking about Ben Simmons trades, and I was trying to think about Ben Simmons trades for the Bulls. We were talking about what if I mean, you could Ben Simmons for Chris Paul right there. If the Sixers try to go for a championship, Chris Paul and Joel Embiid right there, because that's a good formidable. Chris Paul and Joel Embiid's a formidable big 2 right there. And then you put Ben Simmons with the Thunder.
Chris Paul. If you pair him, so I obviously like I say he got him back in the series and they're doing good, but he was always at his best where he forces a switch and he just abuses the whatever switch he gets and goes kill. Problem is that the Thunder don't go big. They go a small ball lineup. So
that's true.
So that's that was one of the issues for his slower starts in the series. But that would be it. Like So again, that's not to say Chris Paul still can't produce. So clearly he still can. He clearly still can be a valuable piece on a championship team. It's just about like which team. How much they got to give up to get him, and what would you be willing to give up?
That's why I said the Sixers, because I think that it would be like, first off, I'm curious. I think they're going to run it back another year, but they got rid of Brett Brown. But like, if they were trying to be like, we're going one last hurrah, let's see if Joel Embiid is anything. That would be it. But although if I'm them, I'm getting rid of Embiid and keeping Simmons. If I'm the Sixers, I'd rather build around Simmons. I just don't like. I don't know Embiid. Like he doesn't try all the time, and that's kind of a problem.
Yeah. Swanee, Embiid, he not his game more so because his game is more involved offensively, but he and like the way he approaches the game, he reminds me of Andrew Bynum. So Andrew Bynum when he was with the Lakers, which I'm still maintaining this. If he was healthy in 2008, they would have beat Boston. I'm not moving off that.
Did he not play that whole series, or was he? I don't remember.
No, I think he didn't play almost. The whole season or a good part of the season. I think
he was out that whole year. He was good.
But so obviously after the championship with the Lakers, he actually ended up in Philly at some point, but he was on his way out the league at that point. One of the criticisms with him was he didn't take the game serious.
Yeah.
One of the criticisms of Dwight Howard was he didn't take the game serious, and it's just like Embiid strikes me like he has like. Offensively polished, can do it all, can dominate, go crazy, can play defense. He does it all. But like I said, the mentality is just like it's just really frustrating. But at the same time, so then on the other hand, you have Ben Simmons with his offensive limitations. So it's like,
yeah, I know, but I mean, but like he was a defensive player of the year, like candidate, like, and so he tries all the time, like, and he makes other people around him better. I just like. I don't know. I guess I trust him more. Like if they had Ben Simmons and not Joel Embiid in this series against the Celtics, they wouldn't have got swept. I don't think they would have won, but I don't think they would have got swept.
Yeah, I think
like he would have willed a way to win a game.
Yeah, at least one game. Yeah, which is tough because Joel Embiid. I mean, obviously, again, one of the biggest things is his health. Is he going to stay healthy? Like, can he stay healthy for an extended period of time? And
yeah, that's true. Well, same with Ben Simmons though.
So yeah, same thing with Ben Simmons too. Like, but Joel Embiid, the his production is there. If you look at the box score, his numbers, the numbers are there. So with that comes the criticism. Is he the, like you're saying? Is he the guy
Right.
that you want to build?
Yeah.
And I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, I think one more, they run it back one more year. Just why not get a new coach, inject some new life? They definitely got to get some production out of. They don't have any flexibility, so they have to run
Yeah.
it back with what they got. They trade one of their guys, but
I think they're gonna trade
yeah,
Al Horford maybe, but I don't know what they'll get back for that.
yeah, not
Not much, no. But anyways, what? All right, so what? Who do you think is gonna win that Thunder Rocket series? They're tied 2-2 right now.
Rockets.
You still think they're gonna pull it out? Yeah.
Rockets in 6. I don't think it'll go 7. I think Rockets. The Rockets are winning the next 2.
These days off actually. So there's 2 people that I think these days off. I mean, obviously they're not regular days off. They're it was meaningful days off, but. In the midst of the playoff run, I'm just trying to, gravitate back towards basketball. Westbrook was questionable for Game 5, which was supposed to start the other day, which was supposed to start yesterday. So he'll definitely play in Game 5 now. And the same goes for Luka's health and hopefully Kristaps too. So I think maybe these guys got a couple extra days.
Yeah, and I think it definitely helps because Westbrook obviously changes any series he's in.
Yeah,
so,
he's the missing factor for them this year. There's no doubt. Like they needed him this series.
Just gives the Rockets a little extra kick, and he just that, and then with the Dallas series, that definitely makes it a world of difference. Because again, I think we choosing the Clippers to win the series.
Yeah, we put Clippers.
Yeah, so I definitely didn't expect the Mavericks to be in the series up to the point that they have been so far. Especially considering that they could have won, maybe should have won Game 1.
No, you put them out. You put the Clippers to win in 5. I put 6.
5, yeah. So definitely was wrong in that. So you're still on pace with that.
Yeah. But the funny thing about that is you're right. But I've been telling my brother, I'm like, man, I'm like, I need a Luka jersey. Like I don't care if I'm wrong. I keep cheering for the Mavs. I'm like, shit. I don't know.
Yeah, like they have become a team that you want. They're exciting to watch.
He's like my favorite player. He's like,
yeah, Luka has definitely surged to be a guy that when you watch him, you just like, yo, like I want to see more. I need to see it. I love it. Keep it going.
That being said, though, the way the Clippers finally played the other day, Paul George decided to show up. I knew he was going to eventually hit a shot, and they looked so good. I know the Mavs didn't look like they were even trying. They looked like they were just worn out, but they looked really good. So I do actually think they're probably going to win Game 6. I think they're going to close it out.
Yeah. I mean that'd probably be a safe bet. Paul George. Well, it's funny. Skip Bayless. He calls him George Paul. I just think that's just funny. I don't know why that's so funny to me. That's just so funny.
People with 2 first names is funny.
It's just so funny to me. But again, Paul George, I still have a bone to pick with him for how he disappeared on Westbrook and OKC that year.
Oh, bro. I mean, and he was disappearing. If they would have lost Game 1 and then they would have been on the verge of out, dude, he's getting all the blame for this series because he was been playing so awful.
Paul George is a supremely good player. Definitely a championship caliber player on the team, but I'm still holding it against him. I'm still holding it against him.
So then the one series on the West that it looks like we might end up getting wrong is the Denver-Utah series. We picked Denver in 7. They're still holding alive. The only way they could win is in 7.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I didn't see this coming. Didn't see Utah coming. I didn't see Donovan Mitchell just exploding and going it's woo.
No, they look pretty good, to be honest.
Utah's tough. And again, the entire way the game's been played in a bubble just changed everything. There's no traveling, there's no lags you might feel going across country. It's literally you wake up, walk to the court, and let's get it on. It changes a lot, and I think that definitely helps keeps players a lot more fresh as well. And
I heard somebody saying the rims are friendly there too.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it with so many high scoring outputs that we've seen.
Yeah, the Clippers had 150 in regulation yesterday. I mean, there's been a couple 150 in regulation games.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Just crazy. But Utah's tough. Utah definitely is tough.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. We're gonna wait on the West since those are unresolved yet. But we're pretty much we can do second round here for the East. Boston, Toronto. We're gonna start. I don't know if that's gonna start tomorrow or Saturday, but that's gonna start this weekend. This should be a great series. What do you think?
should be a great series. Toronto is tough, scrappy, and and they have definitely played with that swagger. Like they forget swagger. They have proven this
Yeah.
isn't just a Kawhi Leonard. Like no. They're the Toronto Raptors, the defending champions. They have
Right.
like Fred VanVleet, hoop, Kyle Lowry, hoop, Pascal Siakam, hoop. Like
Right.
they have guys that hoop. So I honestly, I don't know. I need to take a second to
No, go ahead.
Toronto has a legit. I think they have legit legit chance to beat the Celtics in this series.
I think there's a case that both these teams could make it to the finals. I that's why I think this is a great matchup, because what I do like is they're both really well coached. They're both like balanced teams that have a lot of good guys. The one advantage I give to Boston is they have like 2 stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I just feel like Jason Tatum to me is one of those guys who I kind of like sometimes go on tangents about him, because I think he is like one of those guys that's MVP potential. And that's the only guy on that floor in that series that has that, in my opinion. I'm back and forth. I originally was saying I got Toronto, but right now in my head I'm kind of leaning towards Boston, but I feel like the series is going 7, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's going 7. Man, it's like every time I think I want to make a choice, and I'm gonna lean this way, something spins me back the other way, and it's like I really don't even know.
What do you think about the Kenny the Jet keeps saying that for what he thinks is for a lot of these guys that 3 months off for the quarantine was kind of like a whole off season where, like, one guy from their second year to their third year, they get significantly better. Kind of like you just read the defenses better, you just know the game better. So he was saying that he views Luka Doncic in his third year, like MVP caliber, and Jason Tatum kind of the same. So I don't know. What do you think that these guys have gotten significantly better, or is it just that they're in the bubble and nobody's playing defense?
I think it's a combination of both. A lot of these guys, they probably weren't just laying around on the couch all day like a lot of us.
No.
Like their work from home is a lot different than everybody else's work.
I don't know about Zion Williamson though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's another conversation. That's a whole different thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I think it's a combination of both. Like I said, this I know for myself, I have to sometimes remind myself that this is a continuation of the season. This isn't a brand new season. This is like a continuation of what was already going on, a couple months ago. So time off, got guys refreshed, guys working their game, guys were in the gym working on whatever they were working on. But then also, like you said, there's also playing in the bubble. It's just a different environment, it almost feels like open gym.
Yeah.
That's honestly what it feels like. It's just an open run. We just hooping, and whoever has the best makeup for an open gym type of run, and then also sprinkling a couple key stops here and there, or a couple of big baskets here and there to put you ahead. That's what it feels like. So it's like a combination of all of that.
Yeah, that's true, and it just made me think, because I was thinking, you're right, open run. I was thinking AAU tournament, and then it just made me think they were thinking about, they did the boycott, and they were thinking about ending the season potentially. We're about to hit the second round of the season. The playoffs still are supposed to go until, so we're in August, the end of August. They're supposed to go to the end of October, pretty much, the middle of October. Yeah. So there's still almost 2 months left, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, like my favorite thing about the playoffs is, like I mentioned before, is just the beginning, the first round, when there's multiple games on every single night.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
It's all day. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm already sad because the 1 o'clock games are pretty much done with now, which is
yeah.
I love those, especially when I'm not working. Like, just wake up at 1:30, watch a game. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, so we can go mixed. Boston Toronto. I'm gonna put Boston in 7. I'm doing it. I'll put one for each of us. We do.
Yeah, Boston in 7.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go.
I'm not that confident.
I'm gonna go Toronto in 7. Like I'm gonna go Toronto.
All right, I've got it down for each of us. I'm all right. I got Boston. You got. See, what I'm trying to do is just go round by round so that we don't have to go back and change everything. Like where you just pick everything forward. Like, Milwaukee is not quite done with Orlando, but they're done with Orlando.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy though. The first day of the playoffs, both 8 seeds beat the 1 seeds.
Yeah. That was definitely crazy. Although neither one of these ATs were the We Believe Warriors ATs
Oh,
that beat
dude.
Dallas back then, but
Man,
they
that
definitely
Baron Davis dunk,
definitely
that Baron Davis sideways dunk is amazing still.
crazy.
The energy at Oracle or in Golden State in general is always amazing out there.
Yeah, it's always been crazy.
Yeah, you know what
Like
they
it's
said
always
about
been
the Portland Lakers series, which was interesting, is like because I was thinking that the Lakers were losing more with home court because LeBron needs the fans, but actually Portland's home court is much crazier.
yeah. Portland has a great fan base. Like what came on Twitter? It resurfaced on Twitter a couple of days ago. LeBron's first game with the Lakers last season, they played Portland, and like the first sequence of it was dunk, steal, dunk. It was just
Love it.
crazy. Like it went wild.
That's yeah, no, Portland is it's one of those places that reminds me of Oracle, like the same thing, like the guys on the court, it seems like the sideline guys are like on the court. It's crazy there.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that eventually, maybe like 3 years. Who knows? I don't know. I like bubble basketball though. I do. It seems like really pure basketball.
Yeah, it's your basketball, nothing else. It's just straight hooping.
All right, so what do you think? Milwaukee, Miami. I think this is going to be a great one too. I love all the second round series, to be honest.
Man, Miami mentioned before is a dark horse team that can beat Milwaukee, especially because Chris Middleton is Giannis's second, but he had a couple of just question marks, a couple of my areas. But again, the game is there. He can hoop, he can shoot it, it's there, but still just my Miami's tough, especially Jimmy Butler. He got the dog in him. So when and then Bam Adebayo is an all-star. Goran Dragic, I think, is very underrated, like supremely underrated.
He's been good for a long time. And then I was watching this year, and I was like, he's still so good.
He's been consistently good for a long time. Like if you watch him expecting astronomical numbers and highlights and stuff like that, like like he is in the same category to me as Mike Conley. Yeah. Like just because there are so many other guards that are so good, especially in their conference, they get overlooked. But if you need reliability, consistency, and also just winning players and winning plays, there are two guys that you will want on your team.
Yeah, you could have them be point guards on successful playoff teams for sure. I don't know champion teams yet. I think so though. I like Mike Conley too, and Mike Conley's been huge for the Jazz since he came back. Yeah, I don't know. I think Miami's got so much shooting. Milwaukee's got to play better. They just don't look like who we saw during the regular season that was dominating everybody. I mean, that's impossible to replicate during the playoffs anyways. You're playing a team 7 times. It's hard to replicate that. But actually, Miami, I actually watched the regular season game of Miami and Milwaukee. And I think Miami was the only team that's beat Milwaukee twice during the regular season. So they already were giving them troubles.
Yeah, so they have definitely like a lither edge behind their head. Like they're not scared. We actually took your number. But if I have to choose, I'm gonna go Milwaukee in 6.
That's exactly my thought. It was exactly my thought.
I'm going Milwaukee in 6. I just think Chris Miller, Giannis is good enough. He can get you 1 or 2 games by himself, just having the crazy dominant night with just astronomical numbers and stuff. And then then Milwaukee's other players will just they turn it on, get you 2 games for being hot. I just think Milwaukee can take it in 6.
That was my thought too. I think I'm going Milwaukee in 6. I mean, I guess like we both said, Miami's good. So if anything happens, we're not going to be crazy surprised. But I don't know. I think Giannis is ready. I think these guys are ready. Giannis, I feel like if he's got to take over, he could. Because I mean, they're going to put Bam. I'm sure they're going to put Bam on him for a little bit. Maybe and then Jimmy on Chris and switch it up. I do think they match up well. So we'll see. But Giannis is. I don't know. I got Milwaukee too.
Yeah.
So one last thing before we get out of here. I was just thinking when we were talking, you mentioned Andrew Bynum, and I'm like, man, Andrew Bynum, that's crazy. I saw, the other day was Mamba Day. It was 8/24. It was Kobe's birthday the day before. We talked about how big of a fan you were and growing up of Kobe. And so I was thinking of the Andrew Bynum thing reminded me that I saw the one time I ever saw Kobe play was in Milwaukee against the Bucks, and it was that Kobe team that I think they won it that year that had Andrew Bynum, Ron Artest, Lamar Odom, the largest team I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
They were huge. Every guy on that team was like 7 feet. Andrew Bynum was like 7'3" or some shit.
Yeah, the big ass team.
Yeah, and Kobe hit a buzzer beater in overtime, like over his right shoulder. Yeah, that was the only time I got to see him live, and it made me think of that. Did you ever get to see him live, or?
Man, his last season, my mom was trying to get me tickets when he came to see the Bulls play. I forgot why it just didn't work out, but I didn't get to see him live, which is one of my greatest regrets in life. But I just remember, I wonder if my brother still has a video. His last game, the last game of the season. When I say the way I was jumping up and screaming in front of people, watching, like just losing my mind, it was crazy. That 60-point outburst, it was crazy. And it was like, because you mentioned that buzzer beater, that season I think Kobe hit like 6 or 7 buzzer beaters, and the game winners that he hit, like those 6 or 7 games where there was the margin of losses between like that made difference between like a first or second seed and like the 7th or 8th seed in the West.
Oh, really?
So if they lost those 6 or 7 games, they're 7 or 8 in the West instead of being one of the top 3 seeds in the West.
So not only clutching the game, clutching in the whole scope of the season.
Yeah.
I do kind of remember that. It was like there was like that pump fake corner 3, I think, and then like he had like a bank 3, I think. Like it was all in the same.
That bank 3 again on D Wade. That was crazy. Yeah, man.
That's Well, Kobe, man, rest in peace. That was it's cool. Mamba Day. He has that day.
Yeah, and I forever gonna have beef with Sneakers app. The worst app ever created, man.
The what?
The Sneakers app. So Kobe, some new Kobe's got released. I was trying to get them. Sneakers app is trash. It just, the whole thing is just broken, and it's just terrible.
Nah.
And then you go look for them, and then they get resold. Instead of costing $180, they cost $1,100.
Yeah,
and it's
of
like,
course.
come on.
No, the secondary shoe market is ridiculous. It's crazy. People are shiesty.
Straight bullshit.
Oh man. Well, that's exciting. So we got the East done. We're probably gonna have to come back next week and pick the West.
Yeah. Like I said, games are resuming in a couple of days. So we will get some basketball, but also just still keeping the narrative focus where we can. Like we need to get better as a society at multitasking. Like it just seems like only one thing could be focused on at once. Only one thing can take the spotlight. We can multitask. Like multiple things can be true at the same time. Like, and we do as a whole, we're just terrible at that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, because news cycles and clicks and views and things like that drive the conversation. But as far as like in terms of what's important, multiple things can be important at once, and multiple things can be happening at once, and we just need to be better at understanding that multiple things. Like just because one thing is the first news topic of today doesn't mean that everything else is less important and doesn't matter anymore. Like everything is important. Everything can happen at once.
No, that was very well said, because it's exactly true. There's more than one thing can happen at once. More than one thing can be true at once. More than one thing usually always is true at once. More than one thing needs to be happening at once. We just need to be better at nuance and not just generalizing and just taking into account, separate things. It's no, you're right. You said it great. You're right. We need to remember that there's just more than there's always more to do. So like we're talking in the beginning about, why, the protests, some of the social issues, and then we're moving into sports because, like you said, sports can be a nice release, but and like can get you away from this, but like you still at the end of the day can remember that there's more important things. That's just called how you're supposed to think. What the fuck is like?
Literally, like it's that simple. It's that simple, and the fact like we just us as humans just make things complicated, and it's just come on, man. Okay.
No, yeah. Like you said, we try to relate. I don't want to talk down on everybody. I want to try to relate to people. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when the news is running your mind, but try not to let it run your mind, and just make your own decisions. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on as always. We're gonna have to come back and do the second round next week. Yeah.
Always, man. I'm with it. Until then, man, bro. Like, stay safe. Like, stay positive. And Like just remember, we all want the right things and the things that move in the right direction. And let's just keep that focus and just keep on moving.
Right. Yeah, keep it moving, keep it going, and yeah, we want the same thing. I think that's good to remember. And like the NBA with all them, like everybody's got the right intentions.
Yeah.
The message, whatever you might not always, however it comes across, but people got good intentions. We're leading with love.
That's it. We need more love and less hate in the world, man.
That's you right, brother. And with that being said, enjoy some time with your family, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir, bro. Holla at you.
Yeah, sir. Be easy. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. Thank you, KT, for coming on and chatting again. We'll have you back. We got to do our second round predictions here pretty soon. So I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. I hope you all enjoy any of the episodes you listen to. I want to thank you guys for all the support. Once again, if you do listen, watch, or take in the podcast however you may, if you can subscribe, comment, share, like, it means the world to us. It helps a lot. And I just want to wish you all a good weekend. Have a great weekend. Spend some time with some family, some loved ones. I think I say that pretty much every week, but you should do it. It's always a good memory to look back on, to know that you spent time with people you loved. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Just enjoy your weekend, all right? Enjoy your weekend, and thank you guys for tuning in. As always, one love.